Hello viewers, today I will show you how to make an org chart using Microsoft Excel data file. First I will show you the structure of my data file. Here you are watching the structure of my data file. It contains column A to G, which have column names record ID, employee ID, name, functional title, department, manager ID, and headcount. There are total of 75 records in this file. I have also made another sheet which contains the nodes which will be available in the org chart and only contains employee ID, name, functional title, and department. The first three columns of this sheet will be available in the node, while the department column, which is the column number 4 in this sheet, will be used for grouping the nodes into department. Here, this is the sheet named Edge List. It contains the relationship between the manager and his subordinates, or you can say the predecessor and his successors. Now I am opening the Wired Graph Editor. Selecting the new document. Now I will open the Excel data file which I have showed you earlier. This is the MS Excel import window. Here you can see the data tab and you can see all the sheets tabs. As you can see, Edge List, Nodes, Staff List, and Pivot Table Staff List. Total 4 sheets which you can see in the same window. First we have to define the edge list. So I am selecting column A and B, which contains the edge information, and I have pressed the adopt button and you can see that the data range have been selected. Now we have to define the column of source IDs. Column B contains the column of source ID and column of target ID is column A. You can see about the information of the nodes and edges. There are 76 nodes and 75 edges. Now we have to define the data range and other information about the node list. I have selected the node tab and the node sheet is selected. I have to define the data range first. There is an extra column named manager ID, column 5, which is not mandatory. So I am selecting only the column A, B, C and D, which are required in the node data range. Now I have to define the node IDs. Node ID should be unique, and column A contains the unique node IDs. Employee ID, which is unique. Column of group node IDs, since we need our nodes to be grouped by department, so we are selecting column D for group node IDs. All the data which is required for our organization chart or organogram is selected. Now I will select the presentation tab and define the configurations which I have already defined. I have selected the use configuration, and org chart node is automatically selected because it is the only configuration I have defined about the nodes. Now I am selecting the edges. I have already a configuration for edges, which is now selected, and there are options for layout which are circular, organic, hierarchical and none. I'm selecting the circular option for my graph. This can be changed later. Okay, now you can see the required organogram has been made automatically and grouped by department. This chart is in circular layout, and I want it to be in tree directed layout, which is a compact view and usually required in organizational hierarchies. I have selected the tree layout view. You can select the layout style from the layout style combo. I am using the compact style for layout since it will save the space on the organization chart, and press the OK, and you can see the chart is re-layout into tree view directed style. We can further optimize the graph for printing, so I have double clicked one of the chart, and you can see it has been expanded. This is the chart of sales and marketing department. I need to save space, that is why I am redefining the layout to tree directed. It will reorganize the chart and save space. Now the chart has been reorganized in a compact form and ideally fit for uh, laser printing. Let's go back to the main chart view. I have selected the topmost node and select the neighborhood from the palette. Now I have come back to the main graph and again back to the IT department chart. Now I am also optimizing the layout by again applying the compact view of the tree layout diagram. The chart has been optimized. Now I am going to the other chart which has not been optimized yet. This is the customer support department chart, and I'm applying the same setting which I have earlier applied to other departments. This is the HR services department graph, and I'm applying the tree view and compact layout. Now the finance department graph, and I am applying the tree directed layout on it. It has been optimized. Going back to the main graph, this is the taxation department and I am applying the same settings on this too. Now I am saving the chart to my local disk. The chart has been saved. There is a lot of space between nodes, so I am applying the directory view format on it again, and you can see it has been compacted. We have an extra node which is not needed, so I have deleted it. Now the chart has been optimized for printing and viewing. You can navigate by double clicking any node and it will drill down the respective department. We will now print these charts one by one. Print preview. This is the print preview. Now I'm printing the chart. There are two options, view only or entire graph. I am selecting the entire graph. If you are in zoom in mode, you can select the view only and it will print only the selected view. Now I'm selecting the title. The title defined here will appear at the header of the chart. Changing the text of the text according to the chart. This should be updated manually for each print. At the footer, I am defining the current date at which I am printing the document. Okay, and now I'm selecting the PDF printer on my system so that the output should be generated in a PDF file. It depends upon your system setting. If you have installed already a PDF printer, it will be available to you. I am using Ubuntu and I have installed the PDF printer, so it is available on my system. It is usually available on Windows 10 systems. Let's see how the output is. Now I have to rotate the page. See, a crispy organization diagram is now available to you for printing and emailing. This is the date and date which I have defined at the time of printing. This is how we use the Excel file as a data file for creating our organogram. I hope you understand the whole procedure and it will help you in printing the graph for your organization. I'm starting a new instance of Wired Graph Editor. Selecting a new document. This is our palette showing nodes. There are different types of nodes available, but we will define a custom node which will be a printer friendly version of node which is not available in these shapes of nodes. These are colored nodes which I don't want to use in mono printing. There are other parts of palettes. These are shape nodes and these are model nodes, 3D nodes, and there are edge types also. These are different edge types, but I will use this edge type which is selected in my configuration as default. So let's start to define a node of our own. I am selecting an existing node and I will customize the existing node according to my needs. Pressing F6. You can also right click your mouse button and it will show you a context menu. See here, the shortcut for properties is F6, so I will use F6 button for properties in this video. Fill color, I don't want a fill color since I am configuring a node for mono printing. No color, and there is no need to change any other settings. Apply. Okay, now I will define the fields which will be used in orgchart. F6, no, sorry, right click on the node and add label. I will add 3 labels for this node, one for employee name, 2 for functional title, and 3 for his employee ID. So for the first label, I am defining the employee name. It will replace later with the employee name. Sorry, it has been deleted. Okay, I am again defining add label, employee name, enter. Double click the employee name, press escape. Okay, now right click and set its properties. Placement model, it is set by default smart free. I am setting it to internal. Position will be top. Insets 12 0 0 0. Apply. I'm not changing the font size because it is okay. Second, we have to define the functional title. Add label. Double click, escape to select the functional title for properties. Internal, position will be top. Inset will be 40 0 0 0. Okay. Add label. Escape and properties. Model type internal, position will be top, and for this label the inset will be 60 0 0 0. Apply. Okay. So this is the template of our node which will be available in the configuration. So to make it available in the configuration, we have to define into, first we will have to add into the palette, manage palette, new section, and I am giving it a name orgchart node. And adopting from our as existing document. This is now available in the palette section. I am moving it up so it will be available at the topmost position in the palette. Close. The node configuration have been defined, and if I delete it from my document, I can again add it from here, org chart node, and it is available in our document. Now I will define the properties by properties mapper. But before defining the properties from the properties mapper, we have to load the Excel file in the Wired Graph Editor. So I'm opening the Excel file. This is the file which contains employee records. Edge list. I'm defining the edge list data range. These two columns contains the complete edge list from 75 records. Column source, the manager column, column B is the source column, and column A is the target column. For nodes, I have to define the nodes data range from employee ID column A to column D. The nodes data range has been defined. Now column ID of nodes, which is column A, it is also defined. Column of group node IDs. This is column D. I'm using the department as group. So the configuration of edge and node list is available. Now switch to presentation tab. There is no configuration available now for nodes and edges. We have to define it through properties mapper. Press OK, and the graph has been made, but you see that there is no information about the employee name, functional title, and employee ID in the nodes. So we have to define or map the properties through properties mapper. New configuration for nodes. I'm giving the name of org chart nodes. It will use a single node. You can see there is 4 labels available: label 3, 2, 4, and 5. So we have to start our labels from label 3, because by default there is a label defined which we don't need to be mapped. So for first label 3, we are using the name and map to label number 3. fit node to label. Then we have to define the mapping for label number 4, which is functional title. I am selecting the fit node to label so that the node size adjusted according to the label text. Label 5 is employee ID and apply. Next, we have to define the new configuration for edge. I am defining the edge type. This is the default edge type which will be used in our org chart. Apply. OK. Now press Ctrl A, select all nodes and delete, and again load the data file. Reload file, the file already loaded. Discard changes and reload it. OK. There is no need right now to change the data ranges for edge list and node list, but we have to define the presentation settings. Since we have defined now the org chart node properties, so it is available in the org chart nodes configuration. And similarly, the edge configuration is also available now. New configuration. We haven't given the name, so the default name has been picked. And I'm now pressing the OK. The layout is circular. Now zoom in. See, now the information is available. Name of the employee, his title, functional title, and his employee ID. All the information is now available into the node, and we can arrange the chart to a tree diagram. So this is the method to define configuration for nodes and edges. I hope you understand. Thank you.